8.2 Dosage Calculations. This video will help you determine if a prescription is safe and calculate the correct dosage amount to administer. Determine if a prescription is safe. Before giving a medication to patients, two important questions must be answered. Is the prescribed dose safe? And then what volume of medication must be given? Failure to answer either question accurately can result in illness or even death of a patient. Because these questions are so important, many nursing programs have a gateway exam where students need to score 100% on the exam to pass the course. How to read the usual dose on a prescription bottle. So every time we give medication, there's always a label, and on that label, you'll always find the usual dose. This tells us kind of the safe range that this medicine can be administered. And in this case, it says, the usual dose is a rate that indicates the appropriate dose for a patient. This bottle's usual dose for a child is 20 milligrams for every kilogram, which indicates that the child should receive 20 milligrams times their weight in kilograms each day. Now let's take a look at an example that will help you understand how to determine if a prescription is safe or not. Example 1. A prescription for a 15 kilogram child reads Maychlor, 300 milligrams, twice daily. Should the drug be given at this dose? All right, well, to determine if this is the case, if this is safe or not, we want to look to the usual dose, which is right here, and it tells us that for children, which is what we're dealing with here, we should be given 20 milligrams per kilogram. So that is a given dosage rate. So we're going to write that as 20 milligrams per 1 kilogram per day. Okay? Now, we want to set up a proportion to solve this. Now, we have a 15 kilogram child here. So with a 15 kilogram child, notice I'm lining my units up, kilograms and kilograms in the bottom. We want to give basically X milligrams of medication. So we've got this proportion set up, so we'll cross multiply. Looks on this diagonal, X times 1 is just going to give us X. On the other diagonal, I'm going to go 20 times 15. It's going to give us 300. So that is 300 milligrams. So we solve for X. We find that 300 milligrams, this is the max that can be given in a day. In one day is 300 milligrams. Okay? Let's compare that now to what the prescription reads. So the prescription reads 300 milligrams, but notice it also reads twice daily. So they're trying to give this child 600 milligrams of this drug in one day. That is not safe because the maximum is 300. So we would say not safe. And we would go back and talk to whoever prescribed this medication and make sure there was not a mistake that was made. Now it's time to check your understanding of determining if a prescription is safe or not. Pause your video player and answer practice question 2. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. All right, practice question 2. Prescription for Riped 200 for a 5 kilogram child reads 300 milligrams daily in divided doses. Should the drug be given? Well, let's see. Go to the usual dose. Here it is. 33 to 50 milligrams. So we have kind of a range here. Let's take the maximum and make sure we're not going over this maximum. So I'm going to take the 50 milligrams per 1 kilogram. And in this case, we're talking about a 5 kilogram child. So I would say, okay, X milligrams of medication for this 5 kilogram child. Okay, have my proportion set up. This diagonal would give us 1 times X, or X. This diagonal would give us 5 times 50, which is 250 milligrams a day. Okay, 250 milligrams a day. And notice over here on the label it says this would be the maximum, would be 250. And we want to give that in divided doses. We wouldn't want to give that all in one shot. So let's see what they're trying to prescribe here. 300 milligrams daily in divided doses. doses. So they're trying to divide this up. So it looks like what they're doing with 300 milligrams in divided doses, that would give us 150 milligrams at each dose. Well, at 150 milligrams at each dose, we're well under this maximum of 250. Once we've determined the drug is safe, now we have to figure out how much of the drug to administer, how much of the medicine to administer to get the correct amount of drug. So if the medicine is in liquid form, only part of the medicine is actual drug. So basically, and you're going to have to bear with me in my art here, but basically if we add a medicine bottle here, say there's our medicine bottle, and this is liquid, so we'll draw a little liquid at the top. Not all of this, so this is our medicine, this whole thing is our medicine, right? But not all of that medicine is actual drug. So what they do is they suspend the drug inside of this liquid. And so let's say these little dots represent the drug. This is the actual drug that's in the medicine. Well, that's how they write prescriptions. They write prescriptions based on the actual drug, because different manufacturers will have a different ratio of drug to medicine. So it's not uniform, it's not all the same. And this is how prescriptions are written. And every time a prescription is written, we then have to figure out how much medicine to give. So every one of these labels is going to have the drug concentration. Right here, this one is 375 milligrams per 5 milliliters. So this is the actual drug up there, 375 milligrams of drug in 5 milliliters of medicine. Let's take a look at an example now that will help you understand how to calculate the amount of medicine to give. Example 3. A prescription for an adult reads Mayclor, 300 milligrams twice daily. Is this prescription safe? And how much medicine must be given to administer this dose? All right, first let's see if this is going to be safe. So we have 300 milligrams twice daily. Let's go to our usual dose. This is an adult. And so an adult can get up to 375 milligrams 2 times per day. So we're okay. This is okay. We could say, all right, yep, that's a good amount to administer. Now let's figure out how much actual medicine to give. So we look at our prescription label here, 375 milligrams per 5 milliliters. So that's a rate. So let's see, that's 375 milligrams in every 5 milliliters of medicine. And we're trying to give 300 milligrams to our patient here. 300 milligrams. And we want to know how much medicine, how many milliliters of medicine we need to give there. So let's see, we're going to look at these diagonals, the cross products here. 375 times x gives us 375x. On the other side, I'm going to take 5 times 300. 5 times 300 is 1,500. So all I would do then is divide both sides by 375. So 1,500 divided by 375 gives us 4 milliliters of actual medicine. Okay? Now we've got our medicine calculated. Let's figure out which syringe we need to shade here. So we're trying to give 4 milliliters. We want the smallest syringe that will still do this, and that is that one right up there. We don't want to use any of these big guys. That's not going to be accurate at all. So we're going to shade this now, or fill this thing up to 4 milliliters. Practice 4. A prescription for an adult reads Terracin, 125 milligrams twice daily. Is this safe? And how much medicine to give? Well, first let's see. 125 milligrams twice daily. That means we're given 250 milligrams in one day. Let's see if that's safe. The usual dose says, and we highlighted it down here for you, it's hard to read off that label, 250 milligrams administered once every 24 hours, or 300 milligrams administered in divided doses. Well, we're given 250 in divided doses, so that's safe. That medicine is going to be safe. Now let's figure out how much medicine to give in order to give 125 milligrams in one of these doses. Okay? So here is our drug concentration. 50 milligrams per 1 milliliter. And we are trying to give 125 milligrams. And we want to know, okay, how many milliliters is that going to be? So we'll look at our diagonals here. On one side, I'm going to have 50x. On the other side, I'm going to have 125 times 1, which is just 125. Divide both sides by 50. And 125 divided by 50 gives us 2.5 milliliters of actual medicine to administer. All right, let's take a look at our syringes. We want to use the smallest one that will do the job. Well, that's too small. The 3 milliliters will do it, so this one here is too big. We want to use the 3 milliliter syringe, so we're going to shade 2.5 or 2.5 here milliliters of that medication. All right, let's practice another one. Go ahead and pause your video player now and answer practice question 5. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. All right, practice 5. A prescription for a 23 kilogram child reads 500 milligrams twice daily. So 500 milligrams twice daily, that's really 1,000 milligrams in a day. Let's see if that's going to be safe. Let's go to our usual dose. A 23 kilogram child, so here's our usual dose. We're supposed to be given 33 to 50 milligrams a day. Let's check out that maximum one. Let's check out that 50 and see if we're going to be okay. So let's see, if I had 50 milligrams per 1 kilogram, and our child here weighs 23 kilograms, and then we want to know, okay, how many milligrams that's going to be. So let's see, it looks like we're just going to get, X is just going to be 23 times 50 there. So 23 times 50 gives us 1,150 milligrams of medication. That's the safe kind of top threshold of medication. So our 1,000 milligrams a day is safe. All right, once we know it's safe, now we can figure out how much to give. So we're trying to give 500 milligrams in one of these doses. So here's our drug concentration, 200 milligrams in every 5 milliliters. And we're trying to give 500. We're trying to get 500 milligrams in one dose. And that is going to be X milliliters. So looking at our diagonals, one side here we're going to get 200X. On the other diagonal we're going to get 5 times 500, which is 2,500. Divide by 200. Uh, 12.5 milliliters is what we want to administer of this drug. Let's look at our syringes now. Well, 5 milliliters is out. 12 milliliters is out. So it looks like we're going to have to use this giant one here. Let's see. So 12.5 milliliters. Okay, we'll first start to shade. Now we're at 5. Now we're at 10. Let's count this out now. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's one tick mark is 1 unit here. So let's see. Here's 11 to there, 12 to there. Now 12.5. So we don't want to shade all the way to 13. So we're going to go right up to halfway in there. Just like that.